team like Kyrie and KD, or the Lake Show with King James and AD. Wish I could match him up with the bad boys from the 80s, but no black and white, I need that in HD. HenDawgz.
Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy HenDawgz, and we back to it. You know how we do it. Another day, another Larry Bird reaction video, but we got magic with this one. Shout out to the Bird gang, shout out to the Magic gang, shout out to the Celtics fans, Laker fans, shout out to everybody, man. Especially shout out to the people that have some kind words to say to me. I released about 4 videos with my godson who came out to visit me. Came out for a week. Shout out to his dad. Shout out to Dino Garrett, man. That's my bro for life. I was his best man at his wedding. He trusted flying his son clear across the country, you know, come be with me for a week. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to y'all. You know, y'all have some super kind words, and it made me feel good. It made me feel like, you know, what I'm doing is right, you know. And it's not that I ever second guessed what I was doing was right, but just getting that reassurance from people that don't really know me. I mean, I feel like y'all know me from talking on here, but the fact that y'all could be like, you know what, like he guys, like, you're a great role model for this kid. You know, I can see him like watching you. You know, you're a great role model. Different stuff like that, bro. It made me feel good, cause like, damn, like what I strive to do, you know, the things that I try to be in life, I can see that y'all are seeing that. So it made me feel good, man. I appreciate y'all. But let's get into the greatest rivalry in sports history. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. Episode 7. Episode 7 just came out at winning time. It came out last night. Great episode. But it had a lot of basketball in it. So I feel like when it has a lot of basketball in it, I enjoy it because, you know, I did a lot of the basketball scenes. So if you haven't checked it out, go check that out now. Yeah, I played Tiny Archibald in this one. This was like the intro to Larry Bird. I told y'all once Larry Bird started getting showed on the show more, I'm gonna start reacting to more Larry Bird and Magic videos. So it's only right that I react to this. But before we get into it, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. I definitely feel like I have one of the best YouTube channels on YouTube, especially basketball reaction videos. Like, there's not too many people doing what I'm doing, like being as entertaining, being as informative, like. And I'm not even the type of person to really talk about myself. Like, if y'all know me, y'all know that I hate doing that. But I feel like I gotta kind of talk my shit a little bit, man. Just tell y'all, man, ain't too many people doing it like this. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe right now. Go ahead and like this video if you like this video. And go ahead and write something in the comments. But yeah, let's get to it. Oh yeah, and by the way, I'm gonna put some of the clips from episode 7 in this video too, so that y'all can see, especially my clips. They were real quick. I don't have any speaking lines or nothing like that, but I got a few clips of me passing the ball to Larry Bird, me and Larry Bird walking off. Shout out to Sean too. Shout out to Sean Patrick Small. He's the guy that's playing Larry Bird in the show. He did a super great job. People was, you know, saying, is that a mannequin? Like, it literally looks just like Larry Bird. But no, that's my guy Sean. He did his thing, man. He did his thing, and I was his point guard. So I was honored to be a part of that. But yeah, I'm gonna put some of those clips in here so that y'all can see those. Quick little clips of me, see how I contributed to the show. Let's get to it. We got Bird versus Magic, the greatest rivalry in sports history. Let's get it.
You can't talk about Magic Johnson's career without mentioning Larry Bird, and vice versa. They were two of the best and most successful players in the 80s. Their rivalry saved the NBA from going bankrupt and shutting down. We'll talk about how their relationship started, how they drove each other crazy, and how they formed the most iconic rivalry in sports history. Growing up, Larry Bird was born in 1956 in French Lick, Indiana, 2.5 years and 357 miles up north. Irvin Johnson said hello to the world from Lansing, Michigan. There were a lot of differences between the two, but there were also many similarities. Both hailed from
Two Midwest kids. That's the #1 similarity that I get from them, and that's something that I can relate to them too, because I'm also a Midwest kid. So shout out to the Midwest, man. If you're from the Midwest, write something in the comments right now. We a different breed. We a different breed, man. I'm telling y'all, Midwest people are built different. I'm telling you.
From big working-class families who knew the values of hard work and sacrifice early on. Irvin was a flamboyant kid who wanted to get as much attention as possible. He was the most popular kid in high school and a prom king, while Larry mainly wanted to be left the hell alone. When he had to get up and speak before the class, Bird wouldn't do it and would rather get an F than draw any attention to himself. However, these two polar opposites outside of basketball were the mirror images of each other once they had the ball in their hands. Both 6'9", not overly athletic, but extremely smart and super confident. They both saw the game 2 or 3 moves in advance. Both were team-oriented, and they had an equal desire when they played to win above all else. Magic won the state championship as a senior in high school, averaging 29 points and 17 rebounds. After which he decided to attend Michigan State. Bird averaged 31 points and 21 rebounds as a senior, and he got the scholarship from the Indiana Hoosiers.
Shout out to Jersey Nation. I don't have a jersey on today. I actually got my clutch shirt on. This is a pretty dope shirt, but shout out to Jersey Nation, man. I have a Valley Larry Bird jersey on the way. That jersey right there is on the way, man. I know the Bird gang gonna be hyped when y'all see it, but shout out to Jersey Nation for that, man. It's on the way.
Coached by Bobby Knight, the Hoosiers were one of the country's most successful and famous collegiate basketball programs. However, Bird lasted only 24 days at Indiana University. More than 30,000 people at campus and less than $100 in his pockets were too overwhelming for a hick from French Lick. So Larry returned home to a town of 2,000 inhabitants and became a garbage man. He drove the garbage truck, painted park benches, cut grass, fixed what needed to be fixed. His mom didn't speak to him for months because he ran away from a college scholarship after he...
I know I pause a lot, but I told y'all before, if y'all new to the channel, y'all gonna be like, this dude pause a lot. But if you're not new to the channel, then you're gonna understand why. I be forgetting a lot. So I be wanting to make sure I say it before I forget it. So my question to y'all is, what y'all think was the absolute real reason why Larry Bird left Indiana? Because I've heard a few different stories. You know, I heard one, he was homesick. I heard another one, like the players on the team really didn't like him, or they really didn't treat him the best. Or I also heard Bobby Knight kind of was, treating him crazy. Like, let me know what y'all think the real reason why he left Indiana to go to Indiana State. To leave a super ginormous school, like, because Larry Bird is a tough guy. I don't think a coach just yelling at him would make him want to leave. Like, I don't think so. So I think it had a little bit more to do with that. But well, yeah, what y'all think was the reason why he left a super big school, D1, not even just D1, like a high major D1, to go to Indiana State? Which, I mean, it didn't hurt him, but let me know what y'all think the real reason why.
Year of picking up garbage, Larry decided to return to the university. However, he opted to go to a much smaller Indiana State, which was much more suited for his social skills at the time. While the Hoosiers won their 3rd NCAA title in 1976, Indiana State had never even reached the NCAA tournament. However, that would soon change with Larry Bird on the team. Bird averaged 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists per game with the Sycamores, and led them to an 81-13 record during his tenure. In his senior year, Indiana State reached the NCAA tournament for the first time, and did so in a spectacular fashion. With Bird dominating the college ranks, Indiana State got off to a 33-0 record and reached the NCAA finals against Michigan State and their sophomore point guard, Magic Johnson. First meeting, 1979 championship game, and the NBA draft.
All right, before we get to that part, I think it's something worth mentioning, that how great Larry Bird was in terms of making a team go from nothing to something. Like they said, Indiana State didn't even think about the NCAA tournament. Like, that wasn't even anything on their radar. They probably was just one thing. It was just let's just try to become the best record in our conference, and whatever happens after that. But because of Larry Bird, they went from these very low expectations to in the national championship. Like that's unheard of. And then on top of that, his rookie year in the NBA, the year before, I think they said Boston Celtics won like 20 games. And then his rookie year, they end up winning like 60 games. Like, it's crazy how that 1 year that they get, that Larry Bird gets on these teams, he just literally does a complete 180, like, every single time. Larry Bird, man, Larry Bird was great at creating a team, making a team go from nothing to something, man. It's actually amazing to see.
The first time Magic found out about Larry was from Sports Illustrated, which had a story about the best college player in the country. But he soon got to see for himself if that was true, because both Magic and Larry were selected to represent Team USA in the 1978 World Invitational Tournament. Larry and Magic were the best players on the court, trading behind-the-back passes and treating each other with no-look assists. They had instant chemistry on the court, but off it, not so much, as Larry wasn't the most talkative person on the planet, as you can probably imagine. However, before the NCAA Finals in 1979, Magic still wanted to greet Larry and shake his hand before the game, because after all, they were teammates on the USA team less than a year ago. But Larry wasn't interested. He shunned Magic, and their rivalry officially began. The 1979 NCAA Finals was the most watched NCAA Finals in history at the time, and it's still the most watched NCAA game ever to this day. A small school that had never reached the tournament was undefeated throughout the season, and an unathletic blonde guy made them the most talked about team in the country. The other school was led by a 6'9" point guard, which was never seen before. One was black, one white. One was outgoing and smiled for the reporters. One was shy and gave short one-sentence answers. They were the polar opposites from the outside, but their games were so similar, and that's what wrote the narrative and brought national attention. When the actual game started, two guys guarded Bird the entire game, and he struggled to get an inch of free space. Larry knew he had to score 40 for his team to beat the favorite Michigan State. However, Bird had a bad shooting night. He missed 14 of his 21 shots, and Michigan State won by 11. Bird always says that it's the toughest loss of his career. After the NCAA Finals, both Magic and Bird turned pro. The Lakers selected Magic with the first overall pick in the 1979 draft. Bird was picked 6th by the Celtics in 1978, and that was the last year a player could still stay in college after getting drafted. NBA saviors. By the end of the 70s, the NBA was in big trouble. TV ratings were down, attendance was low, and there was very little buzz around the league and its players. Out of the top 10 most watched basketball games in the 70s, 9 were college games, and tape delays were the norm for the NBA. Drugs were a big issue. The level of basketball wasn't that great, and fights between players happened on the regular. The overall image of the league was terrible. Sponsorships were hard to come by, and the league nearly collapsed by the end of the 70s. However, when Bird and Magic came to the NBA in 1979, they brought the hype that surrounded them in college. They both made the All-Star team as rookies and transformed their teams into title contenders. The Celtics improved their win total by 32 games from the year before Bird and finished first in the Eastern Conference. Magic's Lakers were first in the West, and the teams were destined to clash in the finals. But the Sixers spoiled another Bird and Magic duel. On the morning of the deciding Game 6 of the finals, the news came that Larry Bird won Rookie of the Year with 63 votes compared to just 3 votes for the second-place Johnson. Magic was pissed, and he'd go on to pour 42 points and 15 rebounds in the deciding Game 6.
Tough. That's tough. Let me know in the comments for anybody that's a little bit older that was watching back then. Was Magic, could you tell Magic was pissed back then when Larry Bird got that Rookie of the Year? Because I know he was. And it's like, I feel like you wouldn't really be mad if it was a close race, because it's just like the better, he had a somewhat better season. It is what it is. But for Larry Bird to get 63 votes and you don't only get 3, I could see Magic being pissed by that. Like, damn, like it's only 3 people that think that I should have won and 63 for Larry Bird. Oh yeah, let me go into this finals game and go crazy, like 42-15-7 because
bringing Los Angeles their first title after 8 years and securing the finals MVP trophy. When he saw that Magic won another title, Bird was furious. And that's just who these guys were and how they behaved, envious of each other's accomplishments and maniacally driven to elevate their play. Whenever the season schedule came out, I would circle the 2 games with Boston. Those were the 2 games more important than the other 80, Magic Johnson said. I read the newspaper every day during the season. I was only interested in one thing. What numbers did Magic Johnson have last night? Said Larry Bird. In 1981, Bird won his maiden title with the Celtics, and in 1982, Magic won another one with the Lakers. After that, the league was essentially Bird and Magic, and then everybody else. TV doubleheaders always featured the Lakers and the Celtics against whomever they happened to be playing. From 79 to 84, the NBA's TV ratings rose significantly. Attendance jumped 42% from 1979 to 89, easily the biggest gain among the 4 major American sports. While some credit has to go to David Stern and some to Michael Jordan, the main reason for the NBA's rise has to do with Bird and Magic. They were 2 phenomenal players.
Shout out to Magic and Bird. My question is to y'all is, before Jordan came in the league, so 1980 to 1984, like they said, Magic and Bird was 1 and 2. They were 1 and 2. They were the saviors. They were the people that that prime time had on the TV. Like, it was either the Boston Celtics or the Los Angeles Lakers. Like, them was the only teams that was made sure to be on TV. The only way to get on TV is to have to play against one of those two teams. So my question is, who was the third player that came after them? Even if it was 1 and 2 up here and 3 way down here, who was that third player? Like, who was the player that came right behind Magic and Bird? Let me know in the comments.
Who got drafted to the most iconic franchises and embodied the drama of American race relations, but did nothing to stir up the hatred themselves. Finals clashes. After the Sixers defeated the Celtics and the Lakers to win the title in 1983, Bird and Magic finally both advanced to the greatest NBA stage in 1984. The final series was tough and tightly contested, with the winner decided in Game 7. The Celtics played at home, and Bird was never more determined to win. Magic played badly down the stretch, and Larry finally got his revenge for the NCAA title loss in 1979. Averaging 27 points and 14 rebounds, he was named the Finals MVP, while the media butchered Johnson for his mistakes in the deciding moments. As a result, Magic was on a mission for the 1985 season and played the basketball of his life. The Celtics and the Lakers met in the finals again, and after a first game that finished 148-114 for Boston, it seemed like the Lakers didn't have it in them. However, after a big bounce back from Green, Magic steered LA to victory in 6 games and their first title in 9 NBA Finals against the Celtics. In the summer of '85, after that final series, a monumental shift happened in Bird and Magic's relationship. They starred in a Converse commercial together, with Magic visiting French Lick and spending time in Larry's home with the entire Bird family. For the first time ever, they talked and exchanged more than 2 sentences.
Would y'all say that commercial is what got them super close? Because you can say that act like, I guess it's hard to pinpoint an exact point, but would y'all say that kind of was the shift in it, like the shift in the great relationship rising? I can see that Converse, commercial having a very, very, very big part in it, because they said Magic went to Larry Bird's mom house, like all this stuff. So if you go into a person's mother house, like it has to be some type of, it got to be cool some way. Y'all can't just be beefing and you at the man's mama house. But let me know what y'all think about that.
After that, they struck a friendship, but their rivalry was as bitter as ever. The Celtics won the title in 1986 against the Rockets, and Bird won his 3rd consecutive MVP award. In 1987, the Lakers returned to the finals, again against Bird and the Celtics. In Game 4, Larry seemed to have scored a game winner, but Magic erased it with a spectacular hook shot with 2 seconds remaining, a redemption for the clutch misses in 1984. Bird still had a good look for the win, but he missed a jump shot at the buzzer, and the Lakers took a 3-1 series lead and eventually won the series in 6. After the finals, Bird called Magic the best player he'd ever seen. Later years. As Magic soared and won another title in 1988, Bird was breaking down. He injured his back while chopping wood in French Lick in 1985, and the injury worsened every season. He missed almost the entire 1989 season with a torn Achilles, and when he came back, he needed nearly 3 hours of preparation and spinal adjustments to play basketball. He was under enormous pain, and it was hard for him to walk, let alone play. But being a tough SOB that he was, he stuck around until 1992, even though he should have probably retired in 1988. Magic kept winning MVPs by the turn of the decade, and the Lakers kept making the NBA Finals. However, they couldn't defeat the Pistons in 1989, and the Bulls in 1991.
So they said that Larry Bird should have retired 4 years before he actually did. Is that true? I mean, I understand, his back was hurting. He wasn't 100% healthy, but did his stats reflect that he should have retired 4 years ago? Or is that just basing it off just straight back injuries? Because I get it though. I get it if he was super injured and his stats was very on the decline. He wasn't one of the best players in the league anymore. He was kind of just an average player, and it's like, okay, yeah, bro, you should have definitely retired 4 years ago. But if he was still having a back issue, but still out there, doing his thing, still averaging 20 plus, still being one of the top players in the league, you can't really say he should have retired, even if he didn't really win. Because I'm not the type of person to really do a lot of what ifs, but you can do what ifs with Larry Bird, because there's a lot of stuff that didn't go his way that if it would have went his way, I feel like he would have had an even better legacy, as far as, his back being messed up. And just, I think he tore his Achilles. Like, he had a lot of injuries that if they wouldn't have happened, who's to say, how great of a player he actually would have been. And on top of that, with Lynn Bias dying and was it Reggie Lewis? I don't know much about Reggie Lewis, but I heard both of them die. I seen the Lynn Bias story. But the Reggie Lewis, I heard he was a player for the Celtics too that died. So he had two very great players that were supposed to help him out. They passed away way before their time. So it's some what ifs with Larry Bird, man. It's some stuff that if it wouldn't have happened, he could have easily, had a way better legacy. But let me know what y'all think about that.
To claim the title. Before the 1992 season had started, Magic received terrible news. He contracted HIV and subsequently retired from the NBA. Bird was in shock, and he immediately called Magic. Johnson confirmed that the news was true, and he later said that the call from Bird meant the world for him because he realized how much affection Larry really had for him, despite their rivalry. Larry said that he felt the same that day as on the day that his father passed away. And for the first time in his career, he didn't enjoy playing as much, with Magic not playing. But that wasn't the end. And Larry and Magic had their last hurrah. First, they played as opponents after Magic got an invite to play in the 1992 All-Star Game, which he dominated and won the MVP. And then later that year, they rode off into the sunset as teammates at the Barcelona Olympics. Because their NBA careers were over, their masks fell completely off. Bird and Magic became really good pals during their time with the Dream Team. Legacy. Magic and Bird played against each other 37 times in their NBA careers, and Johnson won 22 of those games, compared to Bird's 15. When it comes to trophies, it was 8 finals, 5 titles, and 3 MVPs for Magic, and 5 finals, 3 titles, and 3 MVPs for Bird. In the end, Magic won more hardware, but Bird was likely a more complete player because he was a better shooter, especially early on. Both players worked extremely hard to outplay the other and were each other's biggest motivation. Their rivalry was the biggest storyline in the 80s, and it saved the NBA, and they desperately needed saviors. In 2010, Larry and Magic wrote a book together, and in 2019, they got the NBA Lifetime Achievement Award together. Even though they are still polar opposites, Larry and Magic always seem to be intertwined and go together like peanut butter and jelly.
Okay. Great video. I don't really want to compare them, but that's boring. It's boring not to compare players. So in the comments right now, man, who was the better player? Magic Johnson or Larry Bird? Right in the comments right now. I need to hear y'all reasonings why too. Don't just say Larry Bird because I'm a Celtics fan, or don't say Magic Johnson because I grew up with the Lakers. Like, I want to actually hear. I want to hear why. Why was Larry Bird a better player? Well, was he the more all-around player? Why was Magic a better player? Was he a better passer? That he was able to get his teammates involved more? I don't know. Just let me know. Let me know in the comments, man. But one thing I want to say before I end this video is the dopest thing about this whole rivalry is how great of friends they were. Like, how even though it seemed, from the outside looking in, it was a black guy versus a white guy who wanted to kill each other, and not literally kill each other. They wanted to beat each other on the court at any chance they get. They were the two best players. Just like, all this stuff that you would think would kind of like make them like not really like each other. It was the opposite. Like, they loved each other. Like, when one retired, the other one didn't want to play anymore. And I think that was the best part about it, how like great of friends they were, how great of people they were towards each other. Like, when Magic got diagnosed with AIDS, he said Larry Bird was like one of the only people, like, as far as in the basketball community, that really was on his side with it. And I think that means a lot. That means a lot. Like, it was players like Isaiah Thomas and Karl Malone and all these different players who was kind of acting weird towards Magic when the news came out. But Larry Bird was the opposite, man. I think that was so dope because they were the 2 best players in the league. But I appreciate y'all for watching this video. This was a super good video. Make sure y'all subscribe to the channel if y'all haven't. I got more videos to do today. Make sure y'all like this video if y'all like this video, and go ahead and write something in the comments. Write what other videos y'all want me to react to. But I appreciate y'all like always. We out.